coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today we're taking a look at City of Zombies by ThinkNoodle Games. So first off, I'd just like to say a big thank you to ThinkNoodle Games for sending me these copies of City of Zombies as well as Time Squared and Elena's Animals, two other games that they make. I'd like to also say to the viewers that I'd like to believe that my opinions on these games are unbiased, regardless of the fact that these were donated to me. I was also going to consider doing City of Zombies and Times Square together because they are both in the same sort of universe, as it were, with the zombies and everything. But I really felt I would want to do each game justice. They're both different in their own way, and each one might be considered differently for classrooms. So I'm going to do the reviews as two separate reviews rather than one combined review. So let's get a look at the report card for City of Zombies. So looking at the number of players, I give this game a B+. And I give it a B+ because it can play solo and it can play up to 6 players. And so depending on the number of players that you're playing, it can accommodate different numbers of groups as well as the solo play, which I just think is really great. For the learning, I give this game an A+. And I mean that sincerely. I mean, I have played this game a few times now with different members of the class, and I've always made sure to also include some of my students who are my more reluctant math learners. But in playing this game, that may happen at first, but as the game progressed, I found them being more and more willing to manipulate the numbers and to play with the numbers and to do what they needed to do in order to help the team to win. And I just found that their engagement in the game and their learning that happened in the short space of time that we were playing was amazing. It's just such a great, motivating way for kids to learn their math facts. And even though exponents is not something that we teach in the grade 5 curriculum here in Ontario, kids were understanding the idea behind it because it's a big part of the game. So I quickly sort of explained to them what the exponents would do and how those would work, and then they were off and running with it. And they were having no problem manipulating those numbers and doing such things to use the exponents and just things. So they were, because they were so engaged, because they were so motivated to work with the numbers to play the game, they were learning so much from it. And I can't say enough about that. For the fun, I give the game an A. I mean, there's times where students would get a little get to what we call in board gaming the analysis paralysis, where they're overthinking things. They're trying to come up with all these different ways, and I really suggest using a timer because sometimes things would kind of bog down a little bit with the students trying to overthink things or really struggling to come up with an answer or a better answer or something. But I think overall we all had a great time, and they're always asking to play it again, and I just think the fun is an A. For time, I give the game a B. Like I mentioned previously, I think the use of a timer with the students is really important. There's ways you can modify to make longer or shorter games depending on the time that you have, and even within that, I mean, playing to the completion of the game is ideal. And certainly there's a timer built into the game that the students do want to see the completion of it. It gives them that sense of a real ending. But even if we don't make it to the ending, the students still feel happy that they got a chance to play. So I think in future plays with using a timer, that maybe things will go quicker and we will be able to finish more games in the time that we have. The box says half an hour. I have yet to finish a game that quickly, but again, maybe just need that timer. For cost, I'm going to give the game a B ? Because I don't know what this game is going to cost yet in Canada. ThinkNoodle Games is from England, and these games were shipped over to me from England. So if we can find a distributor for this game in Canada and get this game, more readily available to Canadian schools and teachers and parents and whoever would like to buy this, then I think whatever you pay for this game, I think it is worth it, which is why I say a B, even though I'm not sure what it's going to cost. Because whatever you pay for this game, I think is worth it. It's a great, motivating way to learn, and I think the students are going to love it. Plus which I'll talk about a little bit more, it's a co-op. And co-op games are really great ones for the classroom in other ways, and so that helps to justify the cost as well. Cooperative games I've talked about before, games like Forbidden Island, great because they teach these kids all those 21st century competencies which are so difficult to teach otherwise in a standard curriculum. Skills like collaboration, communication, creative thinking, problem solving. Cooperative board games teach these things so well, and this not only teaches those skills, but also teaches all these math facts. And it's such a beautiful, harmonious combination of blending of these two things that I just think this game is phenomenal. I had students, like I said, who were so reluctant and they were so timid at first to participate, but as the game got on and with the help of the other players, and they were contributing, they were involved, and they were engaged, and they were really excited by this, and I think that's just such a wonderful thing. Let's take this to the table. Let me show you how this plays. In a round, what's going to happen is that the players are going to take the zombie cards here, and they're going to deal out a number of cards, which is going to vary depending on the number of players. If you're playing 4 to 6 players, you're always going to have the maximum. So putting these out like so. Okay. So here are the zombies. Now, important things to note on the zombies is this is considered the zombie's strength. The zombie's strength is here is 8. So I need to roll an 8. I need to have an 8 as my final result in order to kill the zombie. The zombie, if it makes it to the bottom, is going to eat 3 points worth of survivors. That means it'll eat the 2 and the 1 or a 3, but it's going to eat 3 points worth. Now with an 8, it shows here multiples of 8. So 8 times 1, 2 times 4. So it helps to the students to come up with different ways that they may do this. So let's say we're playing with 3 players. So the first player rolls. I roll a 6, 6, and a 1. Now, first off, actually, we have to resolve the event. So the dustbin lid here can add +1 or -1 to a zombie's strength, meaning the strength here. So if I'm off by 1, I can use this to adjust it to get the zombie and hit it, whereas before I would have missed. Now this one says it's a sudden rush, and all these zombies are going to move 1 step forward right away. So now with the 6, 6, and 1, I can now manipulate these numbers as I need to in order to come up with my thing here. And okay, so remember now I can always take the exponents of my dice, I can always square them. So I'm going to do 6 times 6. I'm going to square this dice for 36. I'm going to subtract 6 for 30, and then add 1 for 31. And boom, I've got this zombie. Now a nice thing too is you notice here on those cards there's a 1, 1, 1, and 3. So this one, it's a level 3 zombie, and it's a prime number, so it makes it a little bit tougher. So, but Crazy Cat Lady zombie has been dealt with. The second player goes, rolls 5, 2, and 1. So 5 plus 2 plus 1 equals 8. And I'm just going to go with that. And then the third player goes, 4, 2, and a 5. So if I do 4 plus 5 is 9, and then 2 doesn't match the 3, but I can use the dustbin lid, and I can then take out that one. So now I've cleared out all the zombies. When you clear out all the zombies, then you get an added bonus of being able to add down 2 more survivor cards, which is going to add to your point total at the end of the game. After every round, the plane moves down 1 more, and more zombies are added to the board. When there's these skull spots on the board, so when I reach the 10, the zombies will then form up on this line instead of at the very back. When they come down to 5, they'll form up on this line. And it adds that extra element of danger. As the game is progressing, things are getting more and more dangerous, and there may even be already hordes of zombies all over the board when those new ones are coming in. There's also hero cards that the players can put down. You can put down a few random hero cards, and these can be played to add some extra abilities and give you some bonuses. When you use the bonus of a hero, you turn it sideways, and when you reach these points here, it looks like a superhero with a cape, and it shows the card. You can refresh your heroes at that point. So knowing when to use these heroes for their abilities is going to be a key way to winning the game as well. If at any point the zombies reach the bottom row, like I said, they start to eat the survivors. These alien ones, they have a saucer above with a beam. They abduct the survivors, and if you take out the zombie alien, then he will drop them again, so you get them back. If at any point, however, if the whole bottom row fills with zombies, then the players have lost. And that's how you play City of Zombies. But be sure to check out the videos that were done by ThinkNoodle. They do a much better job in explaining the full rules on how to play. I just wanted to give you a quick sense here of how it's done. And that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed City of Zombies, make sure to watch out for my next video, which is going to be Times Squared, which is another game using the zombies from this game, but in a different way. It'll be also a smaller deck, less expensive. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to a game which uses the same ideas, but maybe not as big as City of Zombies, then definitely check out Times Squared. But until next time, I'm Craig Thompson with the Board Game Teacher saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.